Hey there, ambitious bookkeepers. It's Serena, and I've got something very special coming your way. Have you been looking to level up your bookkeeping business or pick up the tools and strategies that can truly elevate your services? Well, I've got a little secret I can't fully share just yet. Our Black Friday special is just around the corner, and this year it's going to be bigger than ever before. I'm talking about jaw-dropping savings on our most popular courses, templates, and you heard it here first, even our highly sought-after Elevate program. Now, if you're a fan of getting the best deals and maximizing your professional growth, this is your moment. But here's the thing. You need to stay in the know, and the only way to do that is by joining our email list. Trust me, you do not want to miss the exclusive updates and early insights I'll be sharing leading up to the big event. Head over to ambitiousbookkeeper.com/subscribe and drop your email. It's as simple as that, and you'll be the first to hear all the juicy details and be ready to grab what you need to take your bookkeeping game to the next level. Seriously, there's no better time than now to invest in yourself and your business. So are you ready to make this your best Black Friday yet? I cannot wait to share more, but for now, join our email list at ambitiousbookkeeper.com/subscribe and stay tuned. It's going to be epic. See you there. Hey, and welcome to the Ambitious Bookkeeper podcast. I'm Serena Shoup, CPA, a mom of 3, and I've been running a virtual bookkeeping business from my home since 2017. You are in the right place if you are a bookkeeper, accountant, or an accounting student, and you believe and know in your heart that your purpose is bigger than sitting in a cubicle. If you're ready to learn some actionable tips and strategies for starting and growing your accounting business, then I hope you stick around. Welcome to the Ambitious Bookkeeper podcast. Today I have another lovely guest on. This is Madelyn Furlong. I think we also met on Threads, so I'm just like super thrilled about all the awesome connections I'm making. But yeah, so welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So give us a little bit of a background of who you are, what you do, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I'm Madelyn. I'm a marketing strategist and show-it website designers. So I help like small businesses create show-it websites and then engaging social media content so they can turn their leads into sales and just feel confident online. So I always like to tell people, like, I never planned to be an entrepreneur. It all happened sort of by accident. I mean, I was a social media manager in college, but it was just like, sort of like a side job, a way to make some extra money. And I just really enjoyed it. But in my mind, I was always going to go the corporate route, get a job in marketing, even though English was my degree. I just fell in love with marketing. And so that was always like my plan in my mind. But after college, I just thought, it'd be really cool if I could go full time with this business. And I mean, at the time, it was just like a faraway dream, just something that, I thought that I wanted, but never really, honestly, like never really thought that it would happen. And so, but I decided to just try it out for a little bit. So I ended up getting a part-time job as a bookseller and continued like the social media management business on the side. And when I was working in the bookstore, fun fact, our hometown was actually on an HGTV show. And so we got a ton of tourists. And so I really just like fell in love with marketing even more during that time because I got to promote it, locally, of course, to the tourists, and then also like on social media. And so it just kind of like grew from there. And then I got another job after the bookseller, went on to be an administrative assistant to the president of a university, learned a lot. I'm very thankful for that, and just learned, it's important to provide the right service to students and staff, and then eventually decided, hey, like, I think I can go full time with this business. I think I can make it work. I'm ready for this. So from there, I like evolved into being a marketing strategist and website designer. So it just all kind of like, had this sort of snowball effect. So it wasn't always like linear, but it was very like cool to look back and see, oh, well, this job helped me, with this aspect of my business. Or, it was this point that I decided that I wanted to go full time and like see what, could happen. So yeah, that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
I really like that even though like you were kind of like dipping your toe in the business world, you still were like soaking in every opportunity that you could in your current role in your 9 to 5 to like take that and use what you're learning in your business. And I feel like a lot of our listeners are bookkeepers and accountants who are also like in corporate still trying to start their own thing. And sometimes I think that people feel like in a hurry about like, I want to start my business, I want to get out of corporate. But like, if you slow down and just like be grateful for everything that you're learning while you're still in your role, because that's going to help you in your future, just to have that mindset. Because that's how I felt. Like sometimes I'll look back and be like, oh, I wish I would have taken the leap a lot sooner, but then I would have missed out on all this experience that I ended up getting in corporate that have really benefited the clients that I have. So it's like, it's a trade-off, but at least like to look at your like while you were building things up and like look at your career path and be able to pinpoint like that absolutely helped me in my job now or in my business. And like, even though it would have been cool to be doing this all along, there was a reason
Yeah.
that I had all these other things to learn too. So just if you're listening, like try not to like rush the process.
So true. So true.
But
I remember feeling so frustrated and just being ready to, do this full time. But I mean, like you said, it's really so important just to ask like questions and learn and just like soak up as much as you can during that time because it will like help tremendously in your own business. So you're absolutely
yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those hindsight things
Yeah.
that you're like, okay, now I get it. Like the universe was like, I wasn't quite ready or whatever. So it's like I was presented these other opportunities or obstacles, even in your job, learning experiences that are going to help you in your future. So if you look at it that way, it's easier to not feel like the grass is greener
Yeah.
on the other side. You know what I mean? It's like keep watering the grass on your side, keep your head in the game where you're at, but also like take whatever you can and transfer that over to your new business. So yeah, it's really cool that you're able to recognize that. I think a lot of people don't stop to like recognize that through this process. But so yeah, so now you mainly focus on show it websites
Right.
and marketing strategy, which you mentioned. So what do you mean by marketing strategy?
Yeah, so I'm going to nerd out for just like a couple minutes. I
Please.
love like marketing. I think it's so much fun. I like everything from like looking at the data to like the creative process of it. So I help like clients with everything from social media, like I have a social media content membership. I also help clients with like outsourcing their marketing. So if they, want to hand it all off and say like I don't want to deal with this, please like come up with strategies, build out my funnels, post, on social media, write my emails. I do that as well. So honestly, I love it. It's so much fun and just like getting to test out different things and get to know like clients and their business and their industry. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. A lot of times I feel like some business owners, I mean, I have clients that do it, so it's not like exclusive to the bookkeeping and accounting industry by any means, but like we will hodgepodge together different marketing strategies and be like, "Oh, I need to hire someone to do social media." And then they end up hiring someone else to do the email marketing and then someone else to do building the funnels out and stuff like that. But like to have it all under one, like your control is like probably really amazing so that you can see how everything like works
Mhm.
together. All of the strategy is like in alignment because like, okay, the client is promoting a certain offer. I can make sure it ends up in the email newsletter. I can make sure that the funnel is built out correctly for to run ads to or whatever, and then like the social media content is in alignment with it because like marketing has so many like different pieces that it
Yes.
really is important for all of that to be like congruent. And so that's a huge benefit that you're offering all of that to be under one roof, because like smaller business owners will hodgepodge everything together and then like you end up feeling like pulled in all these directions.
Mhm.
You're communicating with 4 different contractors, making sure everyone's on the same page. And it's like, if you only have to communicate with one person
Yes.
about all of it.
Yes, for sure. Like some people come to me and they're like, "Oh my goodness, like I've been outsourcing this, like you said, to 4 different people and it's taking up like so much of their time talking to all these different people." And so when they like switch and they're, just give it to one person, it's like, "Okay, I can breathe. Like I can actually, talk to you and only you about, what needs to be done for this." And it takes like a fraction of their time. So you're absolutely
Yeah.
right.
I think a lot of people get into the trap of like thinking they only need one little piece of it. initially, which is valid, right? If you're going to do it
Mhm.
yourself, I would say like only implement like one thing at a time and like focus on that until you have a system down. But that's like they kind of treat like hiring or outsourcing it the same way where they're like, I'm just going to outsource a fraction of it. And then they're trying to like save money and do it with like, oh, I'll just have a VA do this part and another VA do this other part because it's super cheap. And then it's like instead of like the time that you would have been spending on just doing it yourself, you're spending all that time just communicating with all these people.
Right. Yeah, I'm all about working smarter, not harder.
Yeah. But it's so easy to fall into that trap
Oh, yeah.
because things just move quickly and you're like, oh, now I need this other aspect. I want email marketing and the social media person doesn't do it. So I'm going to do this part, like go hire it out over here. So that's really cool that you're handling it
Thank
all.
you.
Do you have a team that supports you or are you building out an agency? I love hearing about like the business model that people have and what they're using.
So I've definitely thought about an agency. That might be like a future thing for sure, but I'm looking into hiring a few other like team members, definitely a
Mhm.
VA. So we're still trying to figure all that out. But yeah, an agency, that's kind of like an idea in the back of my head for sure. So we'll see.
That's kind of how bookkeeping ends up. Like, if you grow it to a certain point, like you're like, you only have so much time in a day to serve all the clients. So it's like if you want to continue growing, you
Hmm.
usually have to, you can automate a lot, but you usually have to hire some other kind of role. So then it starts becoming like an agency, like just naturally as you grow. So I'm excited to hear how that all goes. You'll like end up hiring a couple people, you'll get a system down and be like, wait, I could create like I could just really duplicate this and just continue to bring on clients. And it's really cool whenever that like clicks into place and you're like, okay, it's not as like agency sounds scary or big, right? But it
Hmm.
doesn't necessarily need to be like you don't have to have like multiple like groups of employees
Right.
serving thousands of clients to be an agency. You can literally like for us, I have a team of 4 including myself, and like we all serve the clients together, like everyone has their role. And if I like doubled my client base, obviously I would need another group of 4 people to serve all the
Right.
clients in the same way, like to serve the next 20 clients or whatever. But yeah, it's really cool to think about all that.
Definitely. Yeah.
So you talk a lot about transforming your customers or your clients into your biggest cheerleaders. So let's jam on that.
Sounds good.
I guess first off, like, why do you talk about it and why is it so important?
Yeah, so intentionally like prioritizing this client journey and really leaning into like how to turn my clients into cheerleaders has been a huge strategy for me to like scale my business, but then also like, when I teach my clients this strategy, it's helped them as well. So when people feel excited about your business, I mean, that's where the magic happens. And so
Mhm.
this all kind of came out of the concept of unreasonable hospitality. And I actually heard about this from a book by the same name. It's by Will Guidara. Super great book. It's amazing. I mean, completely will just transform your business. But there's this example that kind of sums up the book and the concept. So the author Will was running 11 Madison Park, which is this like super fancy restaurant in New York City. It's like fine dining and it's just like one of the finest restaurants like in the country.
Mhm.
And so one night at this restaurant, there was a couple there and Will heard them talking about how they hadn't had time to go get like a New York hot dog. And so Will ends up like running outside to a nearby hot dog cart, like, and then brings it back, convinces their chef, who's, of course, used to preparing like the fanciest food, and
Yeah.
convinces him to like basically prepare this hot dog and like serve it to the table. So Will takes the hot dog to the table of tourists, and they're absolutely floored. They have such an emotional reaction, and they can't stop talking about it. And so this hot dog that was literally like $2 absolutely made their night and their trip. And then they went back home. They told their friends about it. Their friends went to the restaurant. They posted about it on social media. So it created like this ripple effect. And so it's all about like this concept of going above and beyond. So when I first started my business, I asked myself, as I'm sure a lot of people do, like, why should someone choose me to design their website or help them with their marketing when there are plenty of other people out there? Like, what sets me apart? And so I sort of like came to this conclusion that when businesses genuinely put their clients first and they care about them, it not only boosts like your business's reputation, but I mean, it's a marketing strategy in and of itself. It opens the door to like referral programs, user generated content, it improves client retention, and I mean, so much more. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And the question that you asked, like initially, like what's going to set me apart? That's the thing that's going to set people apart these days too,
Mhm.
especially in the age of AI. It's like, well, why do I need to hire a bookkeeper? Everything can be automated. I mean, it's not perfect yet, but a lot of business owners don't really care. So, and they don't understand how it's still like it's not quite there yet to just be able to like just let QuickBooks do its thing by itself. Like it still needs human intervention.
Mhm.
And that's where like I always tell my listeners is like that's going to be your selling point. If you don't want to offer like super high level services, you can at least say I'm going to take care of you and like treat you like a human and answer the phone and answer your emails and guide you through things instead of just, making you feel dumb and stuff because money is a whole thing.
Oh,
People have stuff around. But yeah, that's definitely going to be like it has been for ages. That's a timeless marketing
oh yeah.
strategy, right? And it will continue to be, especially in the age of AI. So,
Absolutely. That human touch, like, I mean, people just crave it now, especially like, as you said, in the AI age. So just being able to bring that to your business and having that like relationship, it means so much.
yeah, absolutely. So, what are some of the things that you do to like go above and beyond?
Yeah, so I like to say that there are three sort of like components to the client journey. So it's organization, personalization, and then going the extra mile. So, organization, I mean, laugh at me all you want. I love organizing. I love planning. I love,
You're talking to the right crowd here.
it's so much fun
Preaching
for
to
me.
choir.
Yeah. And I love like planning out my week. And so just being able to, have a good organization system when it comes to like your clients, it's huge. So even though you wouldn't think that it plays a big role into turning your clients into cheerleaders, it really does because it shows you respect your clients and their time and their business. So you can't obviously plan for everything, but you can be as prepared as possible. And a few things that like I like to do and I recommend my clients doing as well is just establishing like a clear communication plan with your clients up front. So just saying like, hey, this is how this is going
Mm,
to work and this is when you can expect, this and so just having that up front and showing them like what they can expect will not only like answer a lot of their questions, but also just help them feel a lot more comfortable throughout the whole process. And then making checklists and SOPs so you know exactly like what the process looks like for yourself. You would not
mhm.
believe how many checklists and things that I have. Like I love ClickUp. And so, I mean, my ClickUp dashboard is just like, it's ridiculous. And then also just streamlining your work. So I know this kind of falls into like the operations side of things, but really operations and marketing, they really can go hand in hand. So streamlining, automating, I use Calendly. Metricool is fantastic for social media. I mean, you can schedule your posts, you can look at data, analytics, all of that. So yeah, organization is definitely like that first component of the client journey.
Yeah, I totally agree. And as you're talking about it, I'm like, oh, I could be better about that part on like, because I usually handle the sales calls and the onboarding. So that establishing that communication piece during and the communication plan during like not only the discovery call process, but also like the onboarding to just like reiterate it,
Mhm.
the better the results are going to be. I'm like that.
Absolutely.
I need to add to my list.
Well, we can all improve. So I'm with you there.
Yeah.
So, sort of like the second component that I wanted to share with you and your listeners to that journey is like personalization. And so, this to me
Mhm.
is really fun. This is so, okay, here's a fun example. Like when you go to your favorite coffee shop, we all love it like when they remember our go to order. At least I do. It makes me feel like important and special. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it just makes me smile because they remembered me. I always get like a decaf latte with honey and cinnamon. And when that barista remembers, like, it just, yeah, it makes my day. It's something so small,
Yeah.
but yeah, it makes me smile. So, if you can go beyond the surface level and like get to know your clients, and you can surprise them with unexpected kind gestures. So this could be a handwritten note thanking them for their business, or a birthday card every year, or even something as simple as remembering to follow up with them about something they told you. I know for me, like a few weeks ago, one of my clients found out that they were having a baby. And so, it's just sending like a baby gift. Again, something so simple, but it made their day. And it just was a way that I could add a personal touch and like celebrate this
Mhm.
huge milestone with them and just build that relationship. So, yeah, just any way that you can be personal.
I totally agree with that. When we onboard clients, they get a box, get like a curated gift box in the mail. We use a service that does that, like curates the gifts for us. And so it's like kind of our branding, but it's with like things that they like. So in their onboarding intake form, we ask a couple questions like tea or coffee, and like chocolate or caramel, or like some different options, because those are the options we usually have to work with from the gift box. And then like their favorite color. So they'll include like a candle with that color, or like a journal or something. So yeah, so we do that during onboarding, and it's like our big surprise and delight factor on the front end, just to kind of like, especially when you first onboard someone, like first impressions are key, obviously, but like it also just solidifies the decision that they made to work with you when they get something like that of like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, I'm in good hands.
So
They
true.
see me. The other part is like, if you have a team like I do, one of the things that I know I could probably be better about is just like ensuring that the team is also doing how I would do, like, right? Like having the same, like establishing rapport, having the conversation in the email, doing like the greeting, checking on them. Like, for instance, we have a client who was in the first big hurricane in
Oh,
North
man.
Carolina. And so they were out of power for like 2 weeks, and they were kind of like stranded at their homes, but like they had a generator and stuff. So they were still on the grid, but like, yeah, I know there's like, they're traumatized over it. So like
For
when we
sure.
sent the financials this month, I like let my team know, I was like, please, like, do whatever you can to like soften, like, we're here for you, like we see you, we understand like what you're going through, instead of just going right into like, here's your financials for the month of that you weren't able to work,
Yeah.
and they look like
Yeah.
trash. You know what I mean? Like your business wasn't able to run. So it's like, let's just like be human, like recognize them as humans and like what they're going through. So like just keeping that kind of stuff in mind is really important. But also, like, if you have a team, communicating it to the team, because sometimes people just get into the routine of like, this is the email I send every month with the financials, and like the personal touch kind of fizzles out, but it's important to continue to keep that going. So I love that you're talking
Absolutely.
about that too. It can be so simple
Oh,
as
yeah.
like something like that.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Again, even just like, remembering something that they told you, or checking in
Mhm.
with them after the hurricane. Yeah, it means a lot to them, that human
Yeah.
connection and component. So, yeah, definitely
Yeah.
agree with you.
Yeah. So what's the third thing? You have a
Yeah.
third one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So the third one actually ties in a lot with personalization, and that is going the extra mile. So, one way that you can do this is just reaching out randomly to see if there's anything extra that you can do. Again, people are just so grateful. Like when you go the extra mile or you reach out, I've seen this time and time again. And one thing that I do is just have like a quarterly reminder in my ClickUp dashboard because I'm obsessed
Mhm.
with it.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to put a task in
Yeah.
in my projects for each client to like randomly reach out.
Yes, yes. It keeps me on track because I would just not even think about it. As you know, there's so much that goes on like in the day to day and like
Mhm.
a business owner's life. So ClickUp has saved me, especially in that regard. But another way that you can like go the extra mile is just anticipating your client's needs. So of course, we want to protect our time. So, don't go crazy and like do a bunch of extra work for nothing. But it doesn't hurt to put forth a little bit more effort and thought. So,
Mhm.
for me, if I'm, working with a client to help with their emails, but I see something on like their social media that I really think we can tweak and, make it shine, I'm going to share that with them and just, offer support if they need it. And another way that you can sort of anticipate their needs is like, so this is a client a few months ago. I knew that they were going on vacation, and I usually work about 2 weeks in advance with my marketing services. But again, I knew she was going on vacation. And so I just went ahead and made an extra week of content in advance so she wouldn't have to worry about it on her trip. Like she could approve it now or like tweak it now. And then she could just kick back, relax, not have to worry about it on the trip. So that didn't cost me anything extra. I just shifted, my time around a little bit, but it meant a lot to her and she was very appreciative of it. And then another way that you can just anticipate their needs is, and this is going to sound super basic, but just do an amazing job. When you do a great
Yeah.
job, it really speaks for itself. I mean, you don't just want to settle for getting the job done, but you want to take pride in your work and just really enjoy it and show that they matter. So, yeah, that is just a few of the strategies that I like to put into action.
Yeah, I love all of it. And it really does. Obviously, if you're listening and you don't have any clients yet, it's going to be hard to implement something like this and rely on it as a referral source. But this is one of those things that once you literally just have your first client, you implement these strategies and that client will be referring you. And like that's how I built my client base too. I just served the heck out of my first couple clients and they referred me to other people. And it just started bubbling out like that, right? So it's like, don't discount, especially for us accountants, like we don't really like marketing. So it's like, if you can land a couple clients through whatever channel it is, like, then you just really serve them and they will be your cheerleaders. Like it is hard to find, first of all, bookkeepers with a personality. And then second of all, like accountant for this is like what I'm saying, like business owners think this way. I'm not saying it's hard to find a bookkeeper with a personality. Like I know lots of bookkeepers with personalities, but for some reason we have like this, whatever it's called. I'm like drawing a blank on the name, on like the word stereotype.
Oh, yeah.
This stereotype of being, especially accountants, being like real buttoned up and serious and not fun. And and so it's like, if you can show that you have a personality and really serve them, they're going to be referring you to everybody. So, yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So, what are like, I had a question looming before I started jabbering about that. Yeah. So, I was going to say, like, how quickly, or I guess, like, I always feel like pretty much every marketing strategy is a long game. So, you just have to be consistent over time. But how quickly have you seen people get like results like this
Yeah.
from using this marketing strategy?
Yeah. So honestly, like it just kind of has this ripple effect and the timeline changes or ranges a little bit from person to person. But if someone's really like excited to work with you and they really see, that, hey, like they're doing a good job, then they're going to go tell their friends. And so it could be very quickly as far as like that referral process goes. Other marketing strategies, it'll take a little bit longer. Like you said, consistency really is so important. It's like I have a business mentor and she says consistency trumps talent. She's like, you don't have to be the best at the game, but you just have to stay in it. And so I think a lot of times people get frustrated and they give up when they don't see like instant results. I mean, I'm very impatient. I want like the instant gratification, but like you definitely have to stay consistent and, just also like have quarterly or even monthly check-in meetings with yourself and just make sure you are putting like these strategies into action and that you are providing your clients with like the best customer journey. So yeah, I don't have like a super specific like timeline answer because it does range, but it can be very quickly for sure. I mean, word of mouth travels, pretty fast.
And that's one thing that I like to tell people too, is to like, don't forget to let your clients know that you're accepting new clients, because if they sense that you're super busy and overwhelmed, they're not going to refer people to you because they want to make sure that everyone is taken care of that they refer to you. Right. So it's like, that's how I feel. I'm like, if I work with a service provider and they are always like, every time I talk to them, they're like, I'm so busy. And like, I just am having a hard time keeping up, or they're constantly late. Like, one, they're not going to get my referral because I don't have that trust with them. But like, even if they're always on time, but they're still saying like, I'm really busy, like things are so busy and I need to hire, I'd be like, I'm not going to send anyone your way because you don't have the capacity.
Yes.
So you have to like verbalize like, yeah, we're accepting new clients. I'm constantly like in my newsletter every month that I send out to my clients, I always say like, we're accepting X number of clients. Tell your friends. Like, we do referral fees and like all the things. So
yeah,
but yeah,
that's perfect. You were so right. I've been encouraging clients to even just like have a PS strategy. So like, P.S. I'm accepting new clients. Like, here's the details of my referral program and like what you can get. Obviously, it's worded a lot better. That was terrible. But, and then telling them like in person, on Zoom, like asking them maybe once a quarter, hey, do you know anybody who would be a good fit for this or who might be looking for a marketing strategist or a bookkeeper or accountant, whatever? Just asking them like verbally is very helpful too.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like your clients are your best, like best referral source, best marketing
Yeah,
strategy, like all around. It takes way less time from the business owner to implement this strategy. So like you literally have nothing to lose. It might take a little bit of extra time figuring out like how am I going to go above and beyond, or like figuring out your onboarding process so that you can capture information to personalize things. Like yes, that part takes time, but once you have the system down, like it's repeatable. You do that with every client ongoing, and like it's just kind of built in. So yeah,
definitely.
I'm so excited we chatted about this. Give us a little rundown of the best place to find you online and connect with you if someone wants to connect. Obviously, if you have a show at website, this is your girl.
Exactly.
And yeah, so yeah, give us a little info on like the services you offer. You kind of did at the top, but
Yeah.
reiterate and like where people can find you.
Yeah, so if you would like to stand out online with the Show It website and engaging social media content, just go to my website, madelynvictoriaco.com, and you'll see like how I can help you. And then I also wanted to share that I know we've covered a lot, but I'm just like super passionate about attracting your ideal customers and clients through marketing. So instead of worrying about, oh my goodness, I need to post like 17 times a day on social media or send out 100 emails. I know these are like super extreme examples, but I created a guide to just really help you connect with potential clients and be profitable while doing it. So just go to madelynvictoriaco.com/visibility and check it out.
Awesome. And we will link all this in the show notes. I have one last
Okay.
question that I like to ask my business owner. And I did prep you for this one. Normally, I just surprise my podcast guests. But like when I bring someone on that is not a bookkeeper and accountant, I like to ask the question, do you have a bookkeeper or do you do your own stuff?
Okay, so it's actually kind of a funny story. My uncle is an accountant. He's a CPA.
Uh-huh.
So like he is basically like he takes care of all that, but we work together like on QuickBooks. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like he walks me through everything, but also like he's my CPA, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
Um
That's super helpful to have that support, obviously. Like
yeah.
it's really good. Okay, so with that, so I would say like you don't necessarily have a bookkeeper, but you're a DIYer, but what is one of the like biggest impact things that like if you hired someone you would be looking for, or if there's something that your uncle has done with you that was like super impactful and helpful?
Yeah. So I actually used to have a bookkeeper before him. I should have mentioned that earlier. And it wasn't like the best fit just for a variety of reasons. But going from that to, my uncle, who's my accountant now, he has just been like, I mean, it's really been the biggest transformation in my business. Like, he actually, I mean, he's one of the smartest people I know and like has all these like huge, clients and firms and things like that, but he actually can like bring it down to my level. I used to think that I hated numbers. Like I hated
Mhm.
math. I was an English major in college. So that's like the furthest thing away
I
from
was
math.
too
Yeah.
initially.
And so, lo and behold, like I found out that you actually have to use numbers when you have a business owner. So, like, cue the panic. And when I had that first bookkeeper, it just wasn't the best like relationship. There wasn't communication. She talked like above my head. And I mean, I'm sure she was like a nice person. It just wasn't like the best fit.
Yeah.
And so now having someone to like actually walk me through things and take the time to explain, like just even the most like basic things to me, it's been the best thing. Like I don't do well if I feel like dumb or inadequate or anything like that. And so, now I know how much to pay myself. I know how to like strategically plan for the future. Like I work with a business coach. And so I was able to make that decision because I had information about my finances and I know how to prep for my like slow months. Even like June and July for me are kind of slow because everybody's on
Mhm.
vacation and they don't want to think about like marketing or their website. He's helped me like plan ahead and either like save or cut back on expenses during those months. Yeah, it's because like of that relationship now that I actually enjoy budgeting for like both myself and my business, and I don't actually
Yeah.
dread talking, to him about my numbers. So even though we have like that family component, like I've seen him with other people as well, and he just is very good about like bringing, topics that maybe some people like struggle with or aren't the best with down to their level and like treat them like actual people.
Yeah. And it all still comes back to that,
Yeah.
like,
Exactly. Yeah.
the personal touch. Yeah. So that's great. Full circle.
Yeah. I didn't even
Well,
think
thank
about
you
that.
so much. That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing. And we will link everything in the show notes. I'll link the book that you talked about and all that good stuff. So thank you so much.
Thank you. This was so much fun.
Thank you to everyone who helps make this podcast possible. Content and interviews are produced by me, Serena Shu. Our intro and outro music is written and performed by my brother, Ian Gilliam. Editing is also by Ian using his awesome sound engineering skills along with Descript software. Hosting and publishing is by Buzzsprout. And you can check out the show notes for links to all of these amazing resources and resources mentioned in the episode.
Be ambitious.